Howdy, ladies and gentlemen. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Thomas Jefferson said, "If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done." Benjamin Franklin said, "Without continual growth and progress, such words as improvement, achievement, and success have no meaning." Basically, get off your duff, get to working, you've got dreams, you've got goals, you've got to do what it takes to get them. Like, subscribe, comment, show what your opinion is. Let me know if you like what you've seen. And I thank you for your support. A few weeks ago, I was in a conversation with this feller, and he was like, we were discussing about how the fact that having just two political parties that have any chance in doing much of anything, unless you're in the state of Minnesota, is really not happening. And I said, hey, I would love for there to be more choice. I would love for there to be a conservative party. The Republicans have conservatives, but they're not a Republican party. They're not a conservative party. And he was like, well, what about the Libertarians? And I said, they're a failed party. And they ain't going to unfail themselves. And he was like, really? And so we had this discussion, and he asked me, of course, why I said that they're failed. Well, I had 3 reasons why, and I've since talked to this person, and he knew that I had this, and he's like, well, why don't you go on there and tell everybody else, and maybe they'll think the same reasons are right, and maybe you can make a change in the Libertarian Party. I said, they ain't gonna listen to me, but sure. So this is to the person that I talked to at the library. This is why the Libertarian Party is a failed party. Okay, the first reason that I believe that the Libertarian Party is a failed party. Now, above this, while I'm speaking, I've got this thing up that talks about what libertarianism is. And for the most part, they do these things. But the problem is that they are trying to do what the Republicans do, which is be a big tent party. It sounds good, but as the Republicans keep showing, it's a failed policy, which is why the Republicans barely ever have any control. The Democrats have a cohesive front. The Republican Party and the Libertarian Party, neither one do. Since we already have a big tent party that has been around for a while, the Libertarians, even though they claim to have a stance on something, don't have a coherent policy. But they bring in everybody. You have Reason, which, by the way, I love reading, that gives you all these ideas, but then you listen to these candidates. Let's not even go into... There was Gary Johnson. He's a former Republican governor who became Libertarian, and he had his things. And, okay, everybody made fun of him over Aleppo. I don't know why. Yes, I knew where Aleppo was, but wasn't something that should have been forefront of his campaign anyway. But there was a guy 12, 14, 15 years ago here in the state of Virginia that I'd just gotten done researching the Libertarian Party. I had barely paid attention to him for years. I'll admit it. I get to reading up on the Libertarian Party. Some of which was about Ron Paul, some of which was just from Reason and from other groups, talking about their stances and their stances on economics and all that. And this guy was running here in Virginia. And all the sources that I'd read about the Libertarian Party, this guy was the exact opposite. He was talking the exact opposite. He was talking personal freedom, sure. He was talking a little bit about individual liberty, but he wasn't talking limited government. And he wasn't talking good economic sense when he was talking. And that's the problem with the Libertarian Party. They don't run a coherent message. Why do you think that the Republican Party fails so often? Because they don't run a coherent message. You've got Susan Collins and the liberal wing of the Republican Party. You've got people like Mitt Romney in the mainstream wing, and then you've got Rand Paul and all these others that are in the conservative wing. But then again, though, Rand Paul has some libertarian-style ideas because, well, he's Ron Paul's son. Of course he does. But that's just it. That incoherency. People will go to vote for a Republican and get to thinking, well, okay, even when they get up in Congress, they're not going to be able to do anything because they can't get anything done because they're incoherent. And that's the same reason why people look at the Libertarian Party and go, yeah, well, ain't none of them going to be saying the same thing. And that's one problem. Another reason why the Libertarian Party is a failed party is because they refuse to build communities. They've got a pretty good thing going on online, but that's not the community that needs to be built. When I was down in Atlanta area, I got to talking to this person that was a libertarian, and he had some valid points about libertarians and everything. And I was like, well, you know, I don't know a lot about libertarians. I wouldn't mind to go to a meeting. And he's like, oh, we don't really have enough people to do that here. We do individuals. And I'm like, well, why don't you, like, talk to some folks and do, like, a little meeting? And he's like, oh, we don't do that. And I don't know if he was normal for the libertarian community down there, but I didn't ever meet anybody as part of the libertarian community down there other than him. And I mean, he had stuff outside his shop. He had a store and he had all kinds of libertarian stuff around it, so I figured that he was something libertarian. I've heard about libertarian meetings here in Virginia, and they sound kind of raucous. I'm not too sure I'd want to sit around and listen to them because a friend of mine that is here, when they do go, he was talking about how they have to break down into their caucuses because he's part of the Mises. I'm going to have to look something up. Hold on a second. Yeah. Okay, sorry. Von Mises. After Ludwig von Mises, the Austrian-American economist and historian. Because they also are having arguments with the progressive libertarians. And yeah, so they're not really building a community. They're building battling camps and not a community. And that's what's one of the things, that's one of the hallmarks of Republicans and Democrats. If you go to a small town in Tennessee, where I grew up, Republicans are having Republican things all the time. Democrats are having Democrat things all the time. They can interact with each other with some common sense, and they interact with each other in a great way. There's a community. I haven't seen a community when it comes to the Libertarian Party. That's just not happening. And that is why they can't grow. They can elect a libertarian every now and then, but without a community, you can't continue to grow. Now, the third and last reason why I consider the Libertarian Party to be a failed party is the simple fact of that they continue to complain and complain and complain that they can't get ballot access. Have you ever thought that maybe if you, build a community, in a few areas, get people voting for you within a state. It doesn't have to be a large majority, but get some traction going. Get some folks actually in the state senates and the state legislature, well, all of the state legislature, but the state house, the state senate, house of delegates, whichever state you're in, get some people in there, actually win elections that will help you get people in the Libertarian Party that are not former Republicans or former Democrats. Take a look at the current Libertarian candidate, former Obama official. Maybe, just maybe, if you were to work within these states, get people elected to the state legislature and change the rules, because these are laws that say this. Hey, all of a sudden, it won't be so hard to get on the ballot. I mean, just a little bit of thought there, perhaps. Instead of claiming to be a victim, be proactive. Actually do what is required to get elected in the first place, and then work as elected officials to change what is necessary. But hey, they won't do that. Instead, they're going to start whining and moaning, oh, we can't get anything changed. This nation has proven that they're willing to elect people that are not Republican and Democrat. People are fed up with the Republican and the Democrat Party. Don't think that they are not. But the Libertarian Party, the supposed third power of politics, is not a power. They're a failed money generator. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like reason. I will go along with reason. I don't agree with them all the time, but I enjoy reading and listening to reason. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, Reason is one of the libertarian news organizations. But seriously, it's time to realize that the Libertarian Party has gotten to become a failed party. I don't think they're going to change anytime soon. They're just going to sit there and raise money that is going to be wasted because they're not going to do anything that is productive. And that, ladies and gentlemen, are the 3 reasons why the Libertarian Party is a failed party. Just something for you to think about. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye.